This podcast was originally live-streamed on the NonSequitur show on YouTube. New episodes air weekdays, Monday through Friday, at 8 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/nonsequitur show. Make sure you never miss a live stream by visiting www.nonsecshow.com/schedule. For the latest news, polls and updates throughout the day, follow us on Twitter, @NonSecShow or Facebook.com/NonSecShow. That's NONSEQ show. If you'd like to get exclusive content, bi-weekly private hangouts with Kyle and Steve, backstage access to chat with guests after shows hosted on your channel and much more, become a Patreon saint of NonSequitur. It ensures we continue to improve our show and brings you into the process at the same time. Visit patreon.com/nonsequitur today while the limited spots are still available.
The following podcast is intended for those who believe bold ideas are righteous, unique perspectives are gospel, and strong opinions are sacred. This is Non-Sequitur. Never follow. And now, here are your hosts, Kyle Curtis and Steve McRae.
Hello. Hey.
Hi.
How's everybody doing? I kind of snuck up
Super
on us.
bad. That was the longest intro ever.
I'm starting. Well, I think it was streaming to your end, but it wasn't connecting for us. So when it kept looping, yeah. So we were the holdup, of course. It was not my hair, as most of the chat would like to lead you to believe it was. Thank you very much. I had my hair fixed.
It was my hair. That's
today.
what it was.
Yes. Hello, Steve. I think you're muted. Nope. Try again. Nope. Nothing. Dave, are you getting anything from Steve? Oh, Steve. First it was Katie, now it's you.
I know.
Steve, I think you might have to pop out and come back in. I don't know why Steve's not working, but some would say that's a blessing.
How about now?
There you go.
Yeah, you know what happened was, no, it was working well, and then I showed you my little adapter thing, and I think that screwed everything up because then it reset back to default. So because you were having some issues, so I showed you my little adapter. I was saying that it is actually Kyle's hair. Number 5,432 hair was slightly out of place, and so that took about 30 minutes for just to train that one little one. But
Honestly,
it's good. So just
honestly,
don't stress, people. We got it covered. Tragedy averted.
Everyone would agree that you are more concerned about your hair than I am mine.
I have more to be worried about, and I'm losing it faster.
Do you? Are you?
Oh God, I'm bald. Are you kidding? I'm bald as complete B on top.
Well, anyway,
do you have a skullet?
Yeah. I'm not going to show you, but yes. But thank you.
Oh damn! No, she didn't.
She did. No, it's true, man. Fact's a fact. Whatever.
He's got a skullet.
So it's good to be back. I think that we were all off this weekend, except Dave was here and did the Saturday marathon. I was still out of town yesterday, so we didn't do. I wasn't with Jimmy. But do either of you watch the Game of Thrones?
I watched it last night with my husband.
Oh man, aren't you so excited about it coming back?
No spoilers. I haven't watched it yet. No spoilers.
You haven't watched? Oh,
no, I only watched the first season. I couldn't make it past the first season. It wasn't bad. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll try again one of these days.
What?
My husband watches it religiously, and he started watching it before I was on Adderall, and I have a hard time following really complex storylines.
Oh yeah, there's so many.
Yeah. I know who the characters are, I guess I should say, because I've watched like most of the first season, but I don't really know what's going on. I know that there was like a really big drop last night for a relationship that made things scandalous.
Yep. This is gonna be an interesting season, I think. I no spoilers. I won't spoil it for anyone, but I think it's gonna be. I hope that they end it well. I think that they will. What else is going on? Oh, for tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about. Of course, we're going to do the 5 newsdom stories or nonsense news. After that, we're going to talk about what Jilly has been up to, which is quite a lot here recently, and then we're going to open it up for you guys to call in. You can call in. You can ask Katie questions. You can ask Steve Wright questions, and we're looking for people who either have a direct question or they disagree with us on something. Dave will be screening those calls. We appreciate everybody that is calling in to let us know, how much they love us and that sort of thing. We do love you guys back, but in order to keep it sort of interesting here, and so that people don't have to listen to just our praises all the time, let's give them a little bit of blood and talk to people who disagree with us or have a direct question. So let's. Uh-oh.
There
Megatron.
she goes again. There she goes.
Megatron's on the call. Anyway, Dave, let's roll the thing for the news. Okay, let's see if we can start with our first news story, and this is something for Steve to get pissed off at.
Which I do. The
ex-Pope Benedict blames abuse scandal on the sexual freedom of the 1960s. Steve, you were what? You were in your 40s in the 60s. So why don't you tell us?
Yeah. I remember the sexual revolution well from the 60s, even though I wasn't around yet. Thank you very much. I was born in the 70s. At first, I thought Benedict was dead. Is he still alive? Is he still alive? I was born in 1970, yeah, contrary to popular belief. I looked like I was born in the 60s, but I was born in 1970. But does this guy even, does he know he's still alive?
He probably doesn't know he's still alive, but he is still alive technically. I believe medically he is still alive.
I thought he was dead. I thought he was dead.
I did too, right?
No.
Mandela effect.
That's how
says,
insignificant. That's how insignificant the popes are to me.
It says that Benedict, who was the first pontiff to resign in almost 600 years, said the direct consequence of the 1960s period of counterculture and sexual activism in Europe and America was the collapse of the next generation of priests in those years and the very high number of the following. Back before his election to the papacy in 2005, when it was Cardinal Ratzinger, he headed the Vatican department that investigated sexual abuse. Some theologians were quick to criticize Benedict's analysis of the cause of pedophilia, which appeared to go against efforts by his successor, Pope Francis, to deal with the church's global abuse crisis. So here was the guy that was charged back in 2005 for the scandals that rocked the church. It is apparent that he didn't do that well of a job because they're still finding out things to this day. But I vehemently disagree with him on his analysis that this occurred because of the sexual freedom of the 1960s. I think that was the freedom, the sexual freedom that people found in the 1960s was for the most part a healthy thing. It was that they weren't going to continue to sort of be like, I guess, secretive or quiet or only discuss these things, behind closed doors. It was out. It was open. It was something that should be talked about. For the most part, I think it was a healthy movement. I don't think that it in any way can be to blame for the crisis that we see ourselves in today with the priests. Would you agree, Steve, Katie?
Yeah, real quick, I'll just throw my 2 cents in for this, that I think that what I see is these people doing trial balloons. The first trial balloon they did was trying to blame it all on Satan, right? They're like, oh, Satan and evil has corrupted the church. That's why we're fucking little kids, right? That's the mentality that they're kind of doing, right? So this is, to me, is just, that didn't work, right? Most people are going, hey, that's this asinine, take responsibility, had nothing to do with Satan, and they're getting a lot of backlash for it, as rightly they should. This is just another trial balloon to me. This is just another excuse. I mean, Katie, would you agree on that? You've been following this pretty close. I mean, it doesn't sound like just another excuse to try to avoid culpability for it.
Yeah, and this is, I guess this doesn't really surprise me because I feel like this has been sort of the echo of what bishops and cardinals throughout the church have been saying since that scandal broke in Philadelphia. I mean, there was a bishop in Madison, Wisconsin, that in the fall said that the sex scandal was a product of the homosexual subculture, that has come from whatever, and so none of this really surprises me, to be honest. They always want to.
Katie. Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I have an idea for you when you're done, though.
Oh, that was it. I was just going to say none of this really surprises me. Maybe if they could just get rid of, priests not being chased and letting them bone, there would be a whole lot of less sex abuse.
That probably will be the case one of these days. But how about we send him a bunch of Jilly juice and just tell him to have at it? That'll work.
Oh, well, he'd get an explosion of some kind.
Emperor Palpatine.
No. It's funny that you mentioned that about the celibacy thing with priests. That's not something that was commanded and has always been the case in the church. That was something that later on, down through a succession of popes, was installed. So, and it was, I forget what the exact reason was, but it's not something that was handed down since the beginning that this had to be a rule. So why not repeal that and make it to where these priests can have a somewhat normal existence, because that can only help. You know what I mean? Like it may not be the nail in the coffin and the final end all be all to this. But
I always think, with how much the Catholic Church for years has hammered on that and I hate the word homosexuality because it seems really outdated. I really hate that word. But how they've hammered about how, it's like